Prototype Cup.
I feel bad for dobbing in Bonamy Grimes to you now after that.
You've got to
what can I say? I'm a journalist.
You've got to love it. Thank you very much, Alan. Smashing stuff as ever. And the sun is still out here, which is one of the best things about today. It just keeps the whole positive vibe going. We've got another pair of races to go before the main event later on today. Next up, we have the Caterham Graduates Championship, the Sigma 150 and Max 5 Racing Championship categories. And then after that, we'll have Sigmax and Sigma 135s. Then we'll have a roughly 20-minute tea break, maybe a little bit less if we run slightly over, and then the main event of the weekend, the Silver Lake C1 Challenge.
Right, so we're down in the paddock, and I'm delighted to be joined by John Benfield. John, talk us through qualifying. How did it go for you?
Rather not, actually. not brilliant. Don't seem to have confidence around this track.
Right.
A few areas where just can't carry the speed.
Yeah.
Catch up to people in the corners, and then don't carry the speed out. Therefore don't overtake them, and therefore have the same problem. So I was backing off, catching people up, not capitalising on it, backing off, and just, I will be mid to back.
Well, I wanted to talk to you actually, John, because yes, I did look at the time machines, but race conditions is very different to qualifying, because you don't want to mess up anybody's lap in qualifying, but in race, it's all or nothing, isn't it? Can you and will you be aggressive in the race?
I'm not. I'm too considerate when I race, but no. There are things in that qualifying session that I wouldn't have gone for, because to my mind, it's qualifying. I don't want to bend someone's car. When it comes to the race, I will be a bit more aggressive. I will put it up gently on the inside if I need to. I will outbrake people. So no, the race is different. Qualifying, I don't have that killer instinct.
No, I totally get that, and that's why neither do I. That's why I'm doing this instead. But race one, we've got 2 races today. Perhaps race one a bit of a learner, a bit more confidence in race 2.
I don't know. I like long races, so 25-minute first race, 30-minute second race. I'm looking forward to it. I need to be fast off the block. Not lose the groups that are in front, because as soon as you start doing that, you lose that tone and you get dragged into the group behind you. So the important thing is go out fast. You don't have to do too much time management here, but look after them, don't overheat them, don't slide the car around, keep on a group in front of you, and then make up those places and come home.
It's going to be tight, isn't it?
There's a lot of us out there. We have the mix with the MX-5s as well. Some of those are slowish, and others are obviously quicker. And I discovered today, and they've let us know, so we've let our drivers know, that some of the newer cars, in fact the one just actually beside us is a new Fiat engine one, they have ABS.
Right.
So they actually outbrake the Caterhams. So we're going to have to be careful in some of the corners where we're catching up these guys. They will outbrake us. So some of the front of the grid need to be very aware that they don't slide into the back of a Mazda, which will be unfortunate for everyone.
Look, John, best of luck for the race. Thanks so much for talking to us, and we'll see you out there. Thank you. That's John at Benfield in, as you can see, the 150 class.
Drivers, and always a pleasure to drive on the full fat Silverstone layout.
Yeah, it's a hell of a challenge for these cars as well.
Go on, Alan, we had you for a minute.
Just before we get the race underway and we get lots of noise, can I say a very, very happy 72nd birthday to Michael Wesley, Simon's son, and Simon got in touch with me and said it would make his day if we wished him a happy birthday. Well, what better place to be? Silverstone, racing, 24-hour race and sunshine. Happy birthday, Michael.
Yeah, happy birthday, Michael. Have a fantastic day. We really do hope you enjoy yourself and enjoy the racing as well, of course, and don't get bored to death by our commentary. Now we've got the Caterhams making their way around now, and of course the Max 5s as well. Multiple classes of Max 5s, let's not forget. So we have, just to explain it very quickly, Class A in the Max 5 Racing Championship is the Mark IV Mazda MX-5, the very newest shape. Class B is the Mark III. Class C is the older Mark I. It used to be called the Wenos. Was it the Wenos Roadster? Is that how they pronounced it? Or the Unos Roadster? Unos. It was Unos. Someone once said to me Wenos, and I thought that does actually make a little bit more sense, but clearly not. Mazda RX-8, the only one out there is Class D, Ben Taylor, and then Class LNV, apparently. Oh, sorry, Invitational. Why it would be an L, I don't know. It's Andrew Stacey and Neil Shaw in the Mazda 2s, which, as I think, was it them that you compared to transit vans earlier, Adam?
And GT3 cars,
And
all in
GT3
about 30
cars.
seconds.
Yes,
Yeah.
so if you want a car that's like a GT3 car but also a transit, get yourself a Mazda 2, everybody. But we've got them on the move at the moment. They're just having their green flag lap, and then we will get them lined up on the grid.
Be worth running through that grid order if you have the sheet in front of you.
I swear you can see me on TSL right now looking for it.
Yes. I'm watching.
Always watching, always watching. Right then, let me just grab this for you, everybody, because as mentioned before, we do have it so that there are 2 separate sheets for these grids. So we need to make sure that we get the right one. So, pole position then goes the way of Jason McCormack in the 125 alongside Jamie Winrow. Then we have Benjamin Lopez Appleton and Jamie Elwood on row 2. Harry Kramer and David Yates make up row 3, ahead of Andrew Perry and James de Lusignan. Then it's Jim Earlham and Tim Child rounding out your top 10, ahead of Douglas Christie and Andy Ebden. Jonathan Ems is 13th, ahead of James Gilmore, with Gideon Wilkinson and Barry White, no, not that Barry White, on row 8. Robert Warner, Jonathan Curry, Andrew Whitten and Gary Curtis round out your top 20. And then in the Max 5s, we have Benjamin Greenhill on pole position ahead of Sam Hicks, then Ian Loversage with John Halliwell in 4th. Jeremy Shipley is 5th ahead of Kimberly Nolan, with Ben Taylor and Andrew Stacey 7th and 8th. Then it's Marshall Glynn and Joe Jacob, Neil Shaw and Paul Roddison round out your grid. But watch out for Roddison, because he won the Max 5s in the first race of the day with these guys, didn't he?
Yes, absolutely. It was, as always, quite the dog pile in that battle, but those were the main protagonists, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Mr. Lopez Appleton, I think Benjamin Lopez Appleton could be the dark horse in this one. He was, once he was up into that 3rd position, he did a stellar job at retaining it, and I think that he will be right there with McCormack and Winrow this time around. They both acknowledged, of course, to Alan in the pit lane that they were very lucky to break off into a 2-car leading battle. It's usually a little more populous than that at the front end. So I think that they're not going to have it all their own way this time. I'd expect Winrow and of course Elwood, who was the winner last time, is starting, I believe, from 4th. Kramer, Yates and Perry, good to see him out there, of course, after he had to withdraw last time. Fast starting from 8th place last time. We'll see what he can do from his slot on the grid this time around. I think there are a good number of contenders. I wouldn't want to make any guesses as to the podium, not just who's on it, but in what order.
You knew what question was on the way,
Yep.
didn't you? It's almost as if you knew me that well already, that you knew who I was going to ask who your money's on. Well, Jamie Winrow is definitely one to watch. He was pole position earlier on today. He's now 2nd on the grid, swapping with Jason McCormack. So there's 2 blue cars and 2 red cars near the front of the field, just to make a commentator's life difficult. Jamie Elwood and Harry Kramer are the 2 red cars on the 2nd row of the grid from the first race, and actually this time they're 4th and 5th. As I definitely get them the wrong way around. They're actually already underway as well. I didn't realise they'd be stopped on the grid for such a short time, but the lights are out on their way. Elwood is down the inside into turn 1, but it looks like McCormack has held on. Done a fantastic job of it, and we just wait for the Max 5 cars to go. Oh, and one of them's gone early. A lot of them have gone early. There was 2 different Union Jacks waved. There was a marshal at the back of the field that's waved one. I think it was the 12 that's gone early there, Adam, sorry, so we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Okay, so that's potentially going to be a matter of discourse among the Max 5 drivers. No discourse among the leaders, though. McCormack has got a brilliant lead as they head off down the Hanger Straight for the first time. No doubt he'll be in amongst it by the time they get towards Stowe. However, it's the number 12 in the lead, under some review, I imagine, unfortunately, but it is indeed the number 12 Mazda at the head of the pack again. Of course, fast starting last time as well was the driver of what is the number 2 in the program, of course, so that's worth bearing in mind for everybody as well, that it is the number 2 in the program, but it is the number 12 car in the Mazdas. Let's see where the Caterhams are then. They should be just coming towards me, Abbey and Farm. Will it still be McCormack at the head of the order? Wouldn't put money on it necessarily, because they do switch quite a lot, and sure enough, it's wise that I didn't, because it's all change as they head towards Village for the first time. It is still just about McCormack, but he had Elwood right up his inside, and a big dive from further back as well in the leading pack. There's certainly no fear of a 2-car breakaway this time. McCormack's got a slight advantage. Then it's the 46 of Winrow recovering to second place after losing a few spots around the back end of the circuit. Elwood right there with him in third place, but it is McCormack who leads. He rather looks like one man running away from 100 at the moment.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting one, because there's this army of 2x2x2 behind him, 6 of them all together. Elwood, the cork in the bottle as things stand. There's a little bit of argy-bargy a bit further down. There's a wheel arch gone walkabouts in the middle of Luffield. As you say, McCormack from Elwood, and then Lopez Appleton just behind him, and then it's anybody else's guess really as the race continues. Just trying to see who it was with the arch missing on the right rear after that contact, but it's a bit further back in the pack now and hard to tell, because once they've already gone past me and I can't see the numbers anymore, that's when I can see whether the arch is still on.
I think we have a rather more major issue for the number 46 for Winrow. He's completely dislodged the front nose of his car, so that's well, aerodynamically inefficient for one, and at risk of a black and orange flag for 2. So that's quite a major malady for Winrow, who made up some places on the first lap and is now falling through the order. Of course, visibility probably a slight issue as well, with the nose sticking up, not quite at a fully mast angle, but not too far from it.
We've got an MX-5 in the pits, one of the Mark 3s, number 86. That is that Loversage?
That
no,
is
it's not.
No, that's
Greenhill.
Yes, that's Greenhill, our winner in Class B from last time, who was right up amongst the Class A's, the Mark 4 MX-5s in our last race. Unfortunately, isn't going to replicate that performance this time around by the sounds of it, and it is still John Halliwell in the lead in the MX-5s with a little bit of a gap over the 555 of Paul Rodison. We wait for the Caterhams to come back into view, and sure enough they do, and it is quite the gap now. It's actually starting to look somewhat like a 1-car breakaway as opposed to 2 in the favour of McCormack. So great driving to this point from Jason McCormack, and 3 wide heading into the loop. That was, among others, the trip 113 of Andrew Perry looking to make up some places. The dislodged nose on the 46 of Winrow has now completely detached itself from the car. Quite where its final resting place was is a mystery to me, but he's managed to shed the loose part at least, which should mean he won't get a black and orange flag for his troubles.
We have also had the 86 Mazda into pit lane. Now it has left. I didn't get to the car in time. There was a conversation with the team, but whether the car, it's been dispatched down pit lane, but whether it's turning right and going to the paddock or rejoining the circuit, perhaps you can tell us.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the issue was. It didn't seem like there was any visible damage from that car. It just came into the pits and...
Oh, the car looked absolutely fine when it came past me.
Yeah, I was going to say, it must be a mechanical issue underneath. We've had a...
Mazda lead is about to come under contest coming through Brooklands.
We'll have a look. Yes, they are side by side, and it is the aforementioned Rodison chasing after the under the watchful eye of the stewards, number 12, you could say, because after the unbelievable lightning start, where I think there was 2 Union Jack flags, one on the gantry, one at the back, not sure which one they were watching, but either way, they've got a little bit of company as well there in the form of the number 37 of Hicks, who is stuck right with them there at the moment, all in the same class, of course, all in Class A, which is the Mark 4 Mazda MX-5, but all having a really good fight together there. Sam Hicks, that is, in the number 7.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, back up to second place, at least when they came past me at Maggots and Beckett's, which means it's almost inevitably no longer the case. But it was actually Winrow with the partly exposed front end on his Caterham. Maybe the weight shedding, a kilo dropped, has done him some benefit. We'll see where they come out. It's been a little while since they last came into my sight. Sure enough, there they are now, right on cue through Abbey and Farm, and it is still Winrow in second place, under pressure from Elwood. I believe, is it still Lopez Appleton in fourth place behind? In fact, no, yes, it is Lopez Appleton behind, and then Yates following them. So Yates has got past a couple of people on this lap as well. It's the 125 McCormack, followed by Winrow, followed by the number 2 of Elwood, and then in fourth place, actually, I think it might actually be Perry. Perry has been on a charge in his car, the 113 that of course had to withdraw early last time. No such issues so far in this race. He'll be looking to try and get a podium for his troubles.
McCormack's going to be absolutely loving this at the moment, not having to worry about all of these sort of, well, I don't know what else you could describe them as, but all of these drivers that are just battling away behind. There's 3 wide as they come around Woodcote. That's the 114, the 113, and the number 3. So that's Perry, Yates, and Earlham. All together, they go 3 wide down towards Copse. They all sort themselves out before they get there. But wow, it's certainly getting lively. We've got a car flicking up some dust a bit further back. He's managed to continue on the exit of Luffield, number 85. That's Lachlan.
Almost 3 wide heading into Maggots Beckett's in the battle for second place. It's Elwood that's managed to push through into second. He's been followed by Lopez Appleton. Then I believe it's Yates in the 114 that may have followed him through, if I'm not mistaken. It's actually the 121 of Kramer. What am I talking about? But nonetheless, great battle for second place. But as you rightly say, McCormack is going to be absolutely rubbing his hands together with glee here, because he's effectively pulled off a heist here with 11 minutes and a half left to run in this race. Being 2.1 seconds clear is really stupendous. And we were talking about the final resting place of the nose of Winrow's car. I think I found it just by glancing an eye on the brilliant pictures on the live stream. It is right on the exit of the hangar, right on the entrance, I should say, the hangar straight coming out to Maggots and Beckett's. But thankfully, just off the racing line. However, single file required as they come onto the hangar straight as a result of that missing bodywork.
Yeah, it's always nice to add an extra chicane to the circuit partway through the race. Constant development of Silverstone has been often helped by the drivers, as you can see. We've got the bright green Mazda 2 just coming out of the final corner. That, I believe, is number 25 of Andrew Stacey. He was very much in a bit of no man's land in the first race. Same with the number 11 MX-5 that's with him there. Those two were in a very spread out race. And again, the number 333 of Neil Shaw, which is in the programme as number 33. And actually the number 11, I believe, is actually down as the 111, is it not, Joe Jig?
Yes, it's well, I think it's actually now the 11. It was the number 111 this morning. He's since peeled a number off the side of it.
Weight saving.
Yes.
Now the leaders have just come into my sight again. It's McCormack and then a 10-car train, all within a matter of seconds of one another, and it's wonderful to watch. But second and third in that train, third and fourth overall, is Lopez Appleton and the 114, I believe, of oh no, sorry, it was Kramer, the 121. Yates is just behind those guys. Apologies, I got them the wrong way around there. There's another battle a bit further back, people moving over on the straight on one another, really trying to squeeze each other to the line, but this is incredibly close racing. We've got a car slow here, Adam, but I'll get back to you on that one in a sec.
Okay, well, the battle ongoing. There's also a great battle still going for the Max 5s heading towards your neck of the woods as well, side by side for the lead between Roddison and Halliwell, who is still under investigation. But brilliant battle for second place, as we've said time and time again, among these Caterham Grad 150s, the Sigma 150 class. At the moment, it seems to be falling in favour of Elwood, who's just broken free just slightly from the angry mob in third place and back. That's, of course, including the walking wounded car of Winrow, but they continue on their way down through the lap. The Max 5s have been and gone past you, I imagine, but what order were they in?
Anybody's guess, usually, but no, in fairness, it was Rodison still leading Halliwell. As it says on TSL, he is very much under investigation. Hicks is then ahead of Leslie, who I think has still dropped down. No, he's not dropped down any further by the look of it, but he's in the number 41 car, and he seems to have dropped down quite a bit, so maybe an issue on that lap from him.
10-second penalty, false start for car number 12, so that has been officially recognised. Also car 113, that is Perry, Andrew Perry, exceeding track limits, black and white flag, so he's going to have to make sure he keeps at least 2 of his wheels on the black stuff for the remainder of the race, otherwise he shall be told off in no uncertain terms. He's just fallen behind the 167 actually, he's dropped down to 9th place, the 167. Of course, coming from quite a way back, I believe, on the grid, just trying to find that. Douglas Christie started at 11th, so he's up to 8th place. He's having a decent run, but he's going to have to worry about Andrew Perry, and Andrew Perry is going to have to worry about his use of this Silverstone real estate.
Now Elwood has broken away from the pack behind a little bit. They're all going past the 333 Mazda 2 of Neil Shaw down the straight, absolutely flying by. It's probably the best place for them to catch him because they all stream through. I think maybe one of them just quite isn't able to get past him there. That's Earlham at the back of that train, the bright green machine, just not able to get past him, but I think manages it mid-corner. Obviously the extra capability from his Caterham really helping him do that, but the battling further down is absolutely wonderful stuff to watch. There's so many of them fighting close together, you never know which way it's going to go, and the thing is, it's hard to mentally memorize everything that's going on, isn't it? It's long and short of it.
Yes, it's often tricky to place. Okay, that was 5 cars going right past me at once, but what position are they fighting for exactly? It's great racing all throughout the field in the Caterhams. The cameras for the live stream and many of us watching here at trackside are very much focusing on this battle for 3rd place. Winrow in the 46, 3rd across the line, and unfortunately he's rather lost track, as we said, just with Elwood, who's comfortably in 2nd now. Jamie Elwood has broken free and isn't able to do much about McCormack ahead of him. Word as well to Winrow, last lap of the fastest of the race, 2:26.591. We've not seen many 2:26s from anyone outside of the top 3 in this race so far, so great stuff from Winrow. He's got a turn of pace on, but I think he's going to have to hold on to 3rd place and not really challenge for 2nd any further. In fact, I'm going to immediately eat my words, because Elwood has been closed up on quite significantly on this lap, and now leading the charge behind him is the number 55. So Lopez Appleton has managed to dive back into 3rd place. He's going to have to try and stave off the advances of Winrow, of course, who wants his 3rd place back. And Lopez Appleton is probably going to be sat there saying, no, work with me. Let's try and close up on Elwood.
You'd often see them in karting. If you could see one another, they'd tap each other's helmets. They'd sort of, well, not each other, but they'd tap the helmet and sort of say, like, use your head, let's move forward and think and work together. But you don't get quite that visibility in this. So McCormack crosses the line once again. Still 5 minutes to go. And then Elwood's got a bit of a gap now, but like you say, Lopez Appleton will be thinking, no, what are you doing? Don't overtake me, or at least when you're going to do it down a straight, so then I can get a bit slipstream off you and we can work together forwards, not round corners.
But he's also just as guilty as Lopez Appleton, because he could be behind, he could stick behind Winrow himself if he really wanted to synergize, but that's not what's happening. But it's certainly a great battle between them, as there are 3 wide heading into Maggots Beckett's. Winrow has already had his nose cut off, literally, didn't want it to happen again, has backed out of that one, and it's Kramer now challenging Lopez Appleton. This has given Elwood just a little bit of breathing room again as they head down the hangar straight, but it is less breathing room than it once was. It's down to a few tenths as opposed to 1.5 seconds, so he's certainly not out of the woods yet in car number 2. And a great fight that we're seeing for what is second place / third place, and Lopez Appleton was rather sideways as well through Maggots Beckett's just a few moments ago as well. He's pushing the limits.
Just to let you know, we've had the 27 Chris Savage car into pit lane. The team had a brief conversation. The car has turned right at the end of pit lane, so I think that car is a retirement heading for the paddock.
That's a shame for them. Not quite sure what caused it.
And we did have an incident just a few moments ago at Stowe. I think it was Lopez Appleton that maybe caught the worst of that. Ended up getting his nose chopped off at Stowe and had to back out of it, and has, I think, dropped several positions as a result of the moment. I'll just see where he is on circuit. I think he's dropped down as far as 6th place. In fact, even further than that by the looks of it. And contact as they go through the village loop. Was that Lopez Appleton all the way down outside the top 10? Yes, he is. He's now behind the 129, so he's down in 12th place behind Child, and he tapped the back of Child quite a lot there, and Child has shed his rear fender as a result of the contact, and it's right there on the racing line on Wellington Straight, and thankfully the lightness of the part has allowed the wind from the other cars to carry it offline. But certainly Lopez Appleton aggrieved there after losing quite a few places on the run between Stowe and Club Corner.
So side by side down the straight in the middle of the pack. I say in the middle of the pack for 3rd and 4th place. Down the inside again. Yeah, Lopez Appleton no longer in that fight, but it was Kramer and Perry still having a good scrap. Sorry, Winrow was the one moving ahead there, I think. So they're still having a good ding-dong. And then even a bit further down the order, they're still fighting really, really hard here. I'm just waiting to see who it is that's coming across the line. I think Curtis was the last one through, so I think it's going to be Hughes in the 17, or at least he's in this fight somewhere. He's second in this fight now because it's the 172 Smith in front of him. You'll see them coming out of Copse in a moment. It seems to be all the green and orange cars together here, Adam.
Yes, absolutely. There is a colour-coordinated scrap for position, and looks like they've stayed in the same order for the time being. Speaking of staying in the same order, it's all very... Oh, we have a car off on the exit of Copse. It's the number 99 that just gets back underway a few moments ago. Just clocked it on the live stream, but ended up sat there at the exit of the corner for a moment, which is never a pleasant place to be. I think it was the yes, it was the 69, I think, actually, that had that moment. But a car stranded on the exit of Copse is never fun. We are just a minute and 10 seconds away from the end of this race, so last lap incoming, and we know that the battles get ever more heated as we approach the last lap, and the battle for second still very, very close indeed. It's between Kramer from the back in 4th place. He's following Elwood in 2nd, and Winrow in P3. They then have a gap back to the 5th place driver, the 113 leading the charge. That's Andrew Perry, followed by the number 3 car of Earlham and a gaggle of others. It looks like the lead is settled, but I think 2nd and 3rd are far less secure.
Yeah, you never know which way this is going to go now. There's a lot of people vying for position, and they're just about to catch up to what I think is the number 11 MX-5, and then the Mazda RX-8 of Ben Taylor, the 184. Quite easy pickings for these. I apologise, it's the number 14 MX-5 that they're just catching up with. Both of them grey, so I can probably be forgiven. But now, Winrow and Kramer are actually starting to close in on Elwood here, you know, so much so that Elwood feels the need to move to the right on the way into Copse to break the slipstream here, Adam. This could very quickly switch the other way with a good run down the Hanger Straight.
Yes, he's had to make more plentiful use of the wing mirrors in the last couple of laps than he had to for quite a while. It looked like he had second signed, sealed and delivered maybe 5 laps ago, and it's much less the case now. As they go through Maggots and Beckett's, they don't quite catch up some Mazda traffic, and that's a blessing for Elwood, because that means the bottling up effect, the bunching up effect doesn't happen. He also gets a little bit of a tow down the Hanger Straight as a result, which nulls the pull from behind from Winrow and Kramer, and we will see whether or not he can hold on to that 2nd place from my far vantage point as they go through through Stowe. It looks as though second place is still with Elwood. Winrow and Kramer ended up bottled up behind the RX-8, I believe, going through Stowe, so they lost touch slightly with Elwood. That could be the opportunity that Elwood needs here to just give himself a sigh of relief down the Wellington Straight. The last thing you want to be, or the last situation you want to be in a Caterham is under attack down the Wellington Straight in a slipstream battle, but thankfully I think he's just about distanced himself. Someone who distanced himself quite a long time ago and has never looked back, of course, is Jason McCormack, now 4.3 seconds clear from the battle for second place, heading through the village loop for the final time now, and past my commentary position as he heads on to the Wellington Straight. It's been a commanding performance from McCormack in the 125 car. He should be jolly chuffed with his performance, and a late break for second place. Winrow has taken the second position, but Elwood with a great run looks like he's going to claim his place back as they run down to Brooklands, and Kramer is in amongst it as well as they come back into your line of sight in just a second. Chaz.
Yes, they do, just into the final couple of corners now, and Elwood is back in front. He's managed to return the favour. Incredible stuff on the final laps, but they're just got to focus on getting a good run to the line now. Elwood gets his foot down, but McCormack round the final corner through Woodcote. Fantastic performance from him. Elwood is going to take second place, and Winrow is going to go third, with Kramer in fourth, followed by Perry, then Earlham, then Lopez Appleton, and then the 129 machine of Child. I think we've lost a few of them actually from in that battle there, maybe. Some of them potentially dropping down. It looks like Christian de Lusignan have dropped down a bit, maybe a position too many from an incident at some point there, Adam. I'm not sure.
Possibly so. I mean, there's just looking at
they've crossed the line now. Sorry, they were just in amongst. There's a train of 6 just gone past me. They've sort of fallen back and then became part of that.
I see. Well, the hallmark of an interesting Caterham race is looking around the circuit and seeing the bodywork, and just watching the YouTube live stream for a few seconds there, I can see that there's bodywork at various different points around the circuit, so we've certainly had a compelling battle. Also, speaking of compelling battles, we still have one for the lead in the Max 5 class, albeit with Halliwell receiving a 10-second penalty. It's null and void, but he had a little nibble at Roddison as they went through the loop for the final time. Roddison is now driven away down the Wellington Straight, having got a much better run. I think Halliwell, will he hold on to second in class? I think he will, yes. He's got over 10 seconds over Hicks in third place, so even once that 10 seconds is applied, Halliwell will claim second. I think he can regard that as a lucky break within the Max 5 Class A.
Yeah, Roddison just coming around the final corner now. Crosses the line to take the win, and of course 10-second penalty will be applied to Halliwell, so Appleton goes through as well, and I'm sure that'll be applied afterwards, so he's not actually been classed as ahead of him yet. Oh, there it goes. Yep, it's just been applied afterwards, so there you go. Halliwell now has that 10-second penalty applied, and he will drop a bit further down. Hicks goes through as well. He actually lost quite a lot of ground to those guys a little bit later on, didn't he, in the race there?
Yes, I think that was not too dissimilar from the first race. There was clearly a pair of drivers with the pace advantage today in the Max 5 Class A's, and it was our class winner, the 555 of Roddison, and Halliwell, albeit Halliwell with a slightly eager start, meant that he couldn't really contend for class victory.
Still a fantastic race. We've got the number 45 just crossing the line now, which is Shipley, and then we wait for the final car to come through, which will be Marshall Glynn in the bright yellow number 31 Mazda MX-5 Mark III. He's just coming around now, and just to show the pace difference in the cars, he's obviously on his full pace final lap of the race, and the Caterham race winners are still right behind him despite being on a slowdown lap. So, you know, no disrespect to Marshall Glynn. Of course, he crosses the line now to finish the race, but it just shows the pace difference with those Caterhams. But still, very entertaining all the same, and we've got more of the same coming up, despite it being more and more Caterhams again, haven't we, Adam?
Yep, Sigmax and Sigma 135s out on circuit in just a few minutes, but I believe Alan Hyde will expect the the winners and caterhams in just a few seconds.
Not only expect, but also get, because Jay McCormack has turned right, and the TV crew get the first opportunity to speak to Jay, and I get a thumbs up from him in the cockpit of the car, but I might see if I can get also the car of Paul Roderson, as they tend not to pull the class winners over, so they get to speak to the winner first. Can I just tell you as well?
Go on.
Go on. What were you about to say?
I was just going to say Roderson is about a minute away from you.
Is he? Well, I'm ever so eager and keen, and also, if I stand out on the middle part of the pit lane, then it's a lot warmer, because in the shadow of the garages, it's actually become a little bit chilly. There was a big dark cloud that went over the sunshine and took away all our fun for a few minutes during the latter stages of that race. And as soon as the sun goes in, we immediately lose all the lovely temperature that we've been.
Right. Here he is, he's the winner. Come on, Jason. We spoke in the assembly area, didn't we? And you got him that time.
Yeah.
To talk us through, it was quite a race, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. They seemed to just get caught up battling. I got the break and got away, and it just kept me head down as qualifying laps, and pulled it off. Got revenge.
You got revenge. And you actually opened up a bit of a gap as well. We don't normally see that in catering,
It was totally unexpected. I really didn't expect to be able to pull away like that, but I'm not complaining. It was, it was good.
Great conditions.
Yeah, I had a point to prove in that race.
Well, you certainly proved it, didn't you? What does this mean for the championship going forward for you?
I'm not in the championship. I'm only a guest racer, an invitational
you're only guesting.
racing today.
Oh, well.
So Jamie Elwood took the win for the championship points.
Well, they're probably glad then, aren't they?
Yeah.
If you keep winning these races.
Not bad for a fat old man to be able to come out and still stick it to these
Isn't out there,
young lads.
Isn't out there. Jason, go on, enjoy the rest of the day. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There you go. We've actually got Paul Roderson down here as well from the Max 5. See, we've got a chance to grab a quick word with him. Mr. Roderson, how's it going? I don't suppose you have a mask, do you, Paul? What a fine-looking car this is in the Max 5 Championship, though, isn't it? In fact, it was Paul Roderson who took the victory in race 1 as well. Great stuff. It's roaring at the minute. Just listen to it. And here we go. Paul, double bubble this weekend. Congratulations. What was it like out there?
It didn't start very well because obviously quali had a problem with the car, so I missed quali. So first race I had a lot of work to do. Second race I was hoping to start at the front where we normally finish. But because we were on the back of the caterings, their policy is your second quickest lap time is where you start. So of course that put me at the back again. So yeah, it was hard work, but it was good fun.
You're a bit of a dab hand behind the wheel then, keep coming through and winning.
John doesn't make it easy. But you know, the car's feeling really well. And I can just push on. So yeah, we're good.
Fantastic. Well done, double bubble for this weekend for Paul Roderson. Right, it's time to hand back to your commentator. It's time, would you believe, already for the final catering race of the weekend.
I'm starting at the very back of the grid. At least it makes the race entertaining for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, that time I got a bit better start than the first race, but as I just said, we had a problem in quali where for some reason the battery was just flat, it wouldn't start. It wouldn't bump start or anything. So consequently I started at the back on the first race. Our policy is normally where you finish.
Thanks for having a chat to us down here in Park Fairmay. There we go. They are our 2 class winners, and we have 1 race more before we get to our 24-hour race. Remember that big sort of dark cloud? It is still over the sunshine, and it's not fair.
It's granted me my wish.
It's
It's so cool in here.
Yeah.
The cloud of good fortune.
Well, personally, I don't like it because the jumper's going to have to go back on. Quite chilly in pit lane without the...
It's a nice jumper, though, actually. I was admiring that this morning.
Well,